These are the kind of shoes right here why I just absolutely love the sneaker game. Now, I'll tell you, over the last month or two, it's been really dry out there. I know we've had the huge sort of Space Jam drops where you had 15 different pairs of sneakers dropping in line with the movie, but it just feels like the last 2 months there hasn't been much game. A couple of really nice sneakers, especially those Dunk highs that we had, the 277s, and there was also a couple of others as well, but basically it's been a really dry spell, and then along comes a shoe like this, and I'm just absolutely loving this shoe, especially because I'm here in Tokyo, Japan, and this is all about the Undercover brand and Jun Takahashi designing this shoe. It's a beautiful, beautiful shoe, a great dunk high, amazing hits on it, great quality materials. So it's everything that I want to see in a shoe and everything why I have a sneaker channel like this to talk about great upcoming sneaker releases with you guys out there. It's an absolutely phenomenal shoe. It's already on the sneakers app here in Tokyo, Japan for July the 28th, and today is July the 16th. This video will probably go up on July the 18th, making it perfectly 10 days before the drop date, which is exactly where I want to be, talking about sneakers that are coming in about 2 weeks time, so you guys can plan what it is you're going to be getting your hands on. And I totally recommend putting your hand in your pocket and getting the money out and going for these guys. These are absolutely fire. They've got a retro feel to them that goes back to the original 1985s. They've got the design sort of elements. They've got hits of the branding and the collaboration. They've got amazing quality materials, so it's a for sure must-have dunk high in this current season. But it's going to be followed in a couple of days' time by a second dunk high from the I've forgotten the name of the line now, but it's I'll just chuck up a picture of it so you know what I'm talking about. It's crazy, almost yellow green, neon coloured shoe. I can't remember the name of the brand. It's going to bug me. Ambush. But they already did, I think, a Jordan 1 with that line, and then here they're coming out with this dunk high as well. So it's we've had this barren run for a while, and bang, we've got some huge shoes coming along. So speaking of them, let's look at this one here and talk about all the details on these guys and show you bit by bit why you need to be going after a shoe like this, because it is absolutely top drawer. So we're going to start high and work our way down low on the shoe, and the first place to start as high as you possibly can go is on the tongues, and you also get a look into the insoles on these guys from that view of the tongues. And what you're looking at in both cases, the tongues and the insole, is the awesome branding to go with the Undercover line. So the Undercover is the brand that's kind of collaborating up here with the sneaker, the dunk, and Undercover Basketball Association will come into this, and they're kind of two different things: Undercover brand and then the brand's Undercover Basketball Association, and we'll talk about that when we get to the branding on the ladder on the medial sides, but I want to just focus in on the top first, because that's where you see that Undercover branding coming in on the tongues, which is one of the things I really like about the dunk line, whether it's lows or highs, is especially dunks, dunk pros, SB dunk pros, they kind of go with a different thing on the tongue branding. But these guys, there's a lot of real estate on the tongue branding, and they usually add a little bit of design on there when it's a collaboration. What you have is Jun Takahashi's name and the Undercover brand name up there on top of the tongues, alongside the Nike Swoosh tongue branding. So I appreciate that. And then moving back from that, looking onto the inside, onto the insole, you see the extra branding, the extra detailing going on there. Somebody's kind enough to actually have taken shots of the the insoles taken out, and it looks like this. So that'll give you an idea of what they look like in total, and give you a kind of close-up look at the actual branding details on there. Kind of a simple insole, not very much going on in terms of design, but very much going on in terms of branding and the hits that represent the shoe. So that's kind of the highest point on the shoe, and it's also a place to look into the tongue and the lining and the sort of top line of the shoe as well, because this is one of the places that's 1985 OG retro, the way that that's designed, especially sort of pared back. It's not as clean as you'd get in later dunk highs, so that's an important look to the shoe to represent the OG retro 1985 sort of element of it, and the design and the construction of it. Let's see where we're going to go next. I think I'll go down to those heel branding points, because they're the major point in the shoe, and they're also the next thing that I want to get into. And what we're talking about is that the lateral side of the shoe has that UBA, Undercover Basketball Association branding on it. I think I'm right in saying it says UBA, and then underneath it says Undercover Basketball Association. Fictional, doesn't exist. It's just for the purposes of pushing this shoe. Apparently, Jun Takahashi has very little to do with basketball, but with the Olympics coming up, they're talking about maybe that tie-up between basketball and the Olympic sport. and the design of this shoe from a Japanese designer with the Tokyo Olympics just around the corner. But it does say that the Undercover Basketball Association is just fictional, it doesn't actually exist, and it's on the lateral side branding and the heel of both shoes. But then on the medial side, you have a slightly different piece of branding which matches the tongue branding and the Undercover Jun Takahashi branding on the medial side. So it's nice that they've got double branding. Often with Dunks, you'll have that branding just on the outside lateral edge, but not on the inside medial edge. But in the case of these guys, they've gone with both but different detailing on there. It's a really neat feature, and probably the most important feature in terms of branding for this shoe. But the most important feature in terms of materials for this shoe is the crazy amount of tumbled leather that you see across these things, and I'm an absolute sucker for tumbled leather, especially since I got into Jordan 3s, and the tumbled leather, especially on the high parts of Jordan 3s, has then become something that I'm absolutely always on the lookout for. And these guys have some really high quality tumbled materials, tumbled leathers, especially in the red parts of the shoe. So hopefully somehow, looking at that heel branding, I've been able to give you, capture a little bit of that tumbled leather on there. And we'll move forward to the toe to give you another idea about the materials that there are in the shoe. The red panel of the toe surrounded by the black overlays on there give you an idea of the materials that have gone into the tumbled side of things, but also the standard side of things. And it just sets this shoe apart in terms of quality and the quality materials as much as quality collaboration and quality branding. And since we've been there, we might as well stop at the swoosh and have a look at the swoosh on the side, because it's a signature feature on any dunk, and it gives you an idea of the three colours that we're looking at here. You've got the black swoosh on that red midfoot panel. Again, that midfoot panel really, really beautiful in the tumbled effect. And then down below that, you've got the midsole, and a rare thing on dunks is to see a speckled midsole, but that's what you see on these guys. The speckled midsole adds another element of design to these shoes. And finally, flipping them upside down, having a look at that all black outsole sort of finishes are drapes across the entire shoe, and back out to look at the whole thing. Absolutely first class, top drawer, beautiful shoe, excellent design, great branding, quality materials. It's all there. Even the story of the shoe is really epic. So this is a definite try. July 28th on the Sneakers app, I certainly will be giving these guys a shot, and hopefully you guys will be too, and someone out there, myself or you, will get that old W on the Sneakers app. For now though, it's time to wrap this one up. Another video in the bag as we churn our way towards 1,000 consecutive days on YouTube and 2,000 subscribers. Still not sure which one we're going to get to first. It's going to be a close call. Both of them are going to be happening in the next maybe month and a half, 2 months. So now I have talked about that 1,000 consecutive days on YouTube and the getting to 2,000 subscribers. And I'm going to chuck up some counters for those guys. I think it'll be interesting to see that countdown and get there, push towards both of those things. The 1,000 consecutive days is going to take care of itself. There's nothing that you can do out there to support that and help that happening. But the subscriber side of things, as I'm shooting this video, I think it's 1,964 subscribers. So we're like 36 short of the 2,000 mark. I would like to get to that before we get to the 1,000 consecutive days mark. But they're kind of like running parallel at the moment, kind of going side by side, almost kind of getting to the same point. And I did say I'd put up those counters, and I will do that at some point, but I don't want to kind of overload it and have that kind of taken up too much of the real estate at the channel. So not quite yet, but soon we definitely will get into that. Speaking of soon, it's time for me to wrap up this video and just finish off for another day. But I do thoroughly enjoy doing these daily videos about sneakers and upcoming sneaker releases for you guys out there. It is an absolute pleasure to do that and have you guys supporting that push towards 1,000 consecutive days and 2,000 subscribers. So thanks for checking out the content, and you get to check out that content every single day. And because you get to check it out every single day, I get to say the same thing at the end of every single video, which is that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.